there was this person in a pickup truck that kept driving slowly by my house, putting stuff in my mailbox, and I called the police in my Indiana suburb, and they came to my house and I explained what's going on, and the officer said, "Well, ma'am, that's what you get when you mess with the Second Amendment." I was actually getting ready to go back in the workforce. It was December of 2012. And I was folding laundry, looked up at the news, and there was the news that there was an active shooter in Newtown, Connecticut, a place I'd never heard of. And I just sat on the side of the bed, I'm like, so like you and so many other people in this country, I'm sure, and just watched, devastated, that 20 children and 6 educators had been slaughtered inside the sanctity of an American elementary school. And I went to bed devastated, and I woke up outraged. Just whatever had happened in the middle of the night, alchemy turned that sadness into absolute abject rage. And I went on Facebook and I just said, it was like this clarion call to action. I saw it happen with Mothers Against Drunk Driving in the 80s. It is time for women and mothers to stand up to the gun lobby, the largest, most wealthy, most powerful special interest in the country. And that was it, right? It was my abilities, I could create a brand, I could tell a story, I could communicate messaging, my values to protect my family and my community, and my desires, which was to build this grassroots army of women who would stop the violence in this country. And I think everything I had done culminated in that moment.
You were obviously fueled by rage, passion, all of the things. I remember that so vividly. I think we all do. This is the origin story for Moms Demand Action. At any point, are you thinking about, are you fearful of embarking on this new journey or new career, I guess? What's your thought process in terms of what steps do I take? Am I set up for success? Or is it so much bigger than you that doesn't even enter the equation?
That night that I started it, when we went to bed, I had such an outpouring of people who wanted to help me do this. DMs. I didn't think I would be a public person, so calling me on my phone, sending me emails, texts, DMing me on Facebook, which is where I started Moms Demand Action. We went to bed that night, and my husband looked at me and he said, "I think this is going to be a really big deal." And not in a good way. We were both scared. We were just in a new marriage. Yeah. We had 5 kids we were blending, and it felt like a huge amount of energy, and that the time was ripe for this. And as I went on that journey, I think there's a fine line, as they say, between naivete and stupidity. And I was straddling that because I did not know that people would start to threaten my life, my children's life, threats of death, sexual violence immediately. Wow. Immediately. And there was this person in a pickup truck that kept driving slowly by my house, putting stuff in my mailbox, and I called the police in my Indiana suburb, and they came to my house and I explained what's going on, and the officer said, "Well, ma'am, that's what you get when you mess with the Second Amendment." And so in that moment, I knew I had a choice. I could back down or I could double down. And my personality being what it is, I decided that I was going to double down. And I never looked back. I just decided I wasn't going to let anyone intimidate me or silence me. And obviously our volunteers felt the same way.